Hello and welcome back to another popcorn chat. I hope you guys are doing well. In this video I'm going to be speaking to you about James Mangold's latest film, A Complete Unknown. This Bob Dylan biopic focuses on the beginning of his career and how he changes from very traditional folk acoustic music to electric and kind of the chaos which that caused amongst record labels as well as fans. As someone who's not a big fan of Bob Dylan's music, I have to admit I was drawn in by TImothee Chalamet. So this film was meant to be made originally around the time of the pandemic, but obviously that knocked a few things back. However, TImothee has been sort of studying Bob Dylan, his music, who he is as a person and how he carries himself. And you can really tell that in his performance. He definitely studied the guitar, he had lessons, the kind of voice, sort of diction, how Bob Dylan sounds. It sounds like him, grew out his blooming nails, like, come on. He really dedicated himself to this role, and I think that should really be commemorated. What I like about this film is that it doesn't shy away from the fact that Bob Dylan is a bit of a knob. Nonetheless, TImothee Chalamet is still able to make Bob Dylan somewhat charismatic. Elle Fanning and Monica Barbaro do an excellent job at portraying the women in Bob Dylan's life at the time. I think this film really gives a perspective into their relationship with Bob and sort of sheds a light on that, whereas I think with a different director and a different script, they would have just had those as side characters. But I think there's much more of a platform for these women in Bob's life to kind of, again, show us that, oh, he's a bit of a dick, really, isn't he? With the way he treats people and the kind of bluntness in his tone. And that's definitely shown through his kind of relationships with these women. This is a very typical biopic. It doesn't necessarily take any risks when it comes to depicting Bob Dylan's life. Maybe the fact that they're showing him as a bit of a narcissist, that's probably the most risky thing, but I think people know that within pop culture. It doesn't take that gamble. For example, Rocket Man, one of my favourite biopics, just narratively is so interesting at looking at someone who is alive right now and telling their story. This film feels very traditional and very safe. Another minor thing for me, I do think that TImothee did a great job portraying Bob Dylan. However, I did find it hard at times to understand what he was saying. He was so focused on the kind of impression and character that I think it kind of gets lost and it becomes sort of mumbled dialogue. And at times I do think he was a little bit too focused on that imitation. As we head into Oscar season, I think this has a good chance. I think it's a real safe bet with the kind of politics that's going on with the awards right now. It's a biopic, there's a bit of makeup, costume, it's retro, it's someone who, generally is pretty well loved within pop culture. So I think it's a really safe bet. I think James Mangold is, a reputable director. TImothee could be deserving of that Best Actor, and who knows what's going to happen at Oscars, but I think this is a safe bet if, judges don't know where to go. I think this one is a really safe one to choose. Overall, I did really enjoy A Complete Unknown, and I'm not being biased being a TImothee Chalamet fan. I think he does a great job. I think the supporting cast do a great job. I think it's a great storytelling, the costumes, the music, the physicality in the kind of imitation. It's all there. I think it's, a very easy film to watch. Everyone can go and see it. It's very kind of take your grandma to see it on a Sunday afternoon. I think it's got rewatchability. If you're coming into Bob Dylan, maybe, listen to his albums or, you've always been a fan of him. I think anyone can access this film with little knowledge they have about the man himself. Thank you so much for watching this review of A Complete Unknown. Let me know your thoughts down below. And do you think it has any chance at the Oscars this year? Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon for another popcorn chat.